Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing Ride 4, week 44 of the weekly challenges here today, and it's time for the Kawasaki ZX-6R here in Macau. So the aim of today's video is to help you guys get the gold lap time here in this legendary circuit. Yes, it's going to be a very intimidating track because it is quite difficult, I won't lie. It is a bit of a challenging one, but I'm hoping to give you some advice and some guidance on how to tackle this Chinese circuit. So onto the right hand side we go. We just let go of the acceleration ever so slightly there on the right hand side. I'm going to give you a little bit of advice here. It's going to change your life forever. 200 meters, always brake there. Brake any later than 200 meters and you're being a bit too brave. Always brake at the 200 meter marker and you'll manage to get into turn 3 into turn 4 without any issue. So now onto the right hand side, just gradually bring on a bit of acceleration. Slow, calm and controlled acceleration. No abrupt movements, just smooth on the acceleration. And same can be said for the brakes there. You can see in the bottom right hand corner of your screen how much brake is being applied, and it's around 60 to 75% of brake. It's not slamming the anchors on, and it's not just absolutely just pushing full as much as you possibly can. It's rather controlled. So now into turn 12, the difficult section, which is probably going to catch out a lot of you. So be very, very careful just with the change of direction. My best advice would be to take it slow, take it easy, just experience the track, just get used to it, get a good feel for the ZX-6R. And of course, don't forget, this is on stock tyres as well. So brake a little bit earlier than you would normally do with the likes of the slick tyres. So on the left hand side here, you're going to see the zebra crossing there. That's a great part to pay attention to start braking upon that point. Whenever I've braked at that point where it gets to the zebra crossing, you're pretty much going alright, going into the right-hander. But now onto the left-hand side, going into the left-hand here, we need to keep it in relatively wide. Go too tight and you're probably not going to make the corner of the Dona Maria, so go rather wide and then bring it into the left. Keep an eye on the Turkish sign to your right there, the Turkish flag. I use that as a guide as well to braking just quite slowly into the Melco hairpin, and you're also going to notice getting into that hairpin, it's a wide entry with a little bit of rear brake just pressed down just to bring the motorcycle in, just to close the gap ever so slightly. Brake here just before you get the 100 meter marker and you can enter the Fisherman's Corner for turn 25 without too much of a hitch. Bring on the acceleration now going into the final corner. I imagine you guys at this point are going to be very relieved. It's going to be the same thing. Braking at the 100 meter mark, run a wider angle so out of the R corner, and then bring on the acceleration once more. So that is a lap of Macau complete, and there is the gold lap time. So we're going to do it again. Getting on the left hand side, you see in the bottom right hand corner how much acceleration is being applied. I'm still tucking in at that point, and I'm just reducing the acceleration. You can chuck a little bit of front brake here on the right hand side, or you can go without. It's entirely up to you. It's entirely up to you. It's whatever you feel confident with at the time. I usually start off applying a little bit of front brake just to slow the motorcycle down, but you don't actually have to in that corner. You can just literally go not quite flat out, but 80% of acceleration. So now onto the right hand side for turn 5. Run it wide and then bring it in tighter. You run it too tight there and you may bump your head on the wall there, and that will knock you off, so be very careful of that as we go onto the left hand side. A little bit of a change direction, and now onto the right hand side we'll go, bringing on the brakes as that bike stands up ever so slightly. You get a brief moment where you can just start braking, and then you can start bringing in the motorcycle for the corner. Keep an eye on your right hand side. You're going to see a couple of bins. Use that as a braking marker as well. Just before you get to those bins, as you see them in your peripheral, just start braking as well. It just helps you slow down into that corner. This is what I usually do. I'm looking for parts of the track I can give you guidance and it's just some ideas on how you can replicate my riding style when you're playing Ride 4. So now on the left hand side, passing the marshal, and then to the right hand side, that change of direction, had a bit of an adjustment there to stop myself from bumping into the wall, using the zebra crossing as a guide on when to start braking, and then chucking in to the right hand side for turn 19. Now hard on the brakes just before you get to one of the lampposts in the middle. The way I did it was, as you bring on acceleration, you're getting ready to shift up. As you feel that the gears are needing to shift, that's when you need to start braking for that difficult right-hander. Keep an eye out for the Turkish flag as mentioned earlier. Change to the left ever so slightly and bring on the brakes. Just full brake here, but then just bringing on a little bit of rear brake. You can see me tapping it in the bottom right corner. You see the gauge just bobbing up and down. That's me giving it a bit of rear brake just to slow the motorcycle down enough to get into that extremely difficult hairpin. 100 meter markers, keep an eye out for that. Start braking chuck the right boot out and bring it in for the right-hander for Fisherman to turn 25, and then bring on your acceleration. So the penultimate corner has been dealt with. It's time for the final corner, the 100-meter marker. You've seen it, there it is, going into the R corner, onto the right-hand side, bring on the acceleration, and this is going to be another gold lap time worthy time. And across the line, beautifully done. So I'm going to do a couple more laps for you here in Macau just to give you a better idea. The guide is going to be relatively the same because of course wouldn't really be a guide if I was changing every other moment, but the point being in this track is that you're going to probably crash a lot and you're going to struggle here and there, so just take your time with it, don't fear the worst, just be confident and just take your time. That's honestly the best thing I could explain to you. My first lap was relatively slow compared to the next 2 laps I'm going to put in now, and it was literally just a case of getting used to the track, getting a good feel with the ZX-6R and a feel with the stock tyres as well. If you're having any issues with the smoothness and the handling of the bikes, I do have a guide on my channel if you're looking for a little bit more support, but for the time being we'll just focus on the actual riding of the ZX-6R for now as we go on the right hand side for turn 9, breaking it in nice and slowly and nice and in the middle of the track, so therefore if you make a little bit of a mistake either side, you're in the middle of the track, you're not going to just bump into the wall and end your run prematurely. But now onto the left hand side for turn 12, again nice controls, following and paying attention to the right hand side of your screen. That bottom right hand corner will give you a good indication of how much acceleration and how much brake is being applied. I can't stress that enough because it will really help you. It is kind of hard to explain how much actual force you're putting onto the triggers and the brakes because, well, everyone's controller is different, and if I'm using a DualShock 4, which I use all the time, I find that the dead zone is smaller compared to the likes of the Xbox controller, for example. So it's best to pay attention to the right hand side of your screen just to get a good indication of where you need to be. We're now going into the Moorish Hill, very smooth on acceleration. Just to mention for electronics as well, I am running a EBS of 2, anti-wheelie of 1, and TCS at 0. Paying attention once more to the Turkish flag, braking just after that point. I went a little bit later that time, but you're going to see I have to really use a lot of rear brake there, and that's a little bit too messy for my liking, so go for the Turkish flag or a little bit afterwards. That's the best sort of spot I could give you for guidance on that particular corner. That corner is very treacherous as well, so just be very careful. Got a little bit confident here and braked a little bit beyond the 100-meter marker, and you can see it was not as smooth on the entry, but we did actually go a little bit faster in that particular sector. Braking at the 100-meter marker here for the final corner, so we now go on the right-hand side, very tight to the apex there, actually almost bumping the Johnny Ray helmet into the wall, and that will conclude our 3rd lap, which is another improvement to a 2-minute 29.435. So on the left-hand side for the final lap, we're going to give it another major performance here. I'm going to try and get the fastest lap I can possibly do now, so this one's going to be a little bit more aggressive, if you will. So going into the right-hander, just giving it pretty much everything we've got, trying to avoid the wall there, avoid contact with it, because of course if you even just touch it once, you'll crash immediately. So braking after the 200-meter marker, full brake, downshifting all the way down to 1st gear, and then nice and controlled on the entry for the 4th corner there. So now into turn 4, the 3rd corner it was just a moment ago. But now onto the right hand side, just a little bit of a very close moment, getting very, very close to the wall on the right hand side there. It was a little bit too close for comfort. I wouldn't advise doing that if you're starting out, but if you are feeling confident, then why not go for it. Went very aggressive here on the acceleration going into turn 10. I gained a lot of time, but it was rather a scary moment. I would definitely focus on just taking it smoother and more controlled into that particular sector, but you can find a little bit more extra tenths if you're looking for that a little bit more by just going a little bit faster in that particular sector. It's a counterintuitive corner because it does feel like you don't have a chance of actually making that corner if you're using acceleration, but believe me, you can, as long as you're still in control of the motorcycle. If you're an amateur, a rookie or a beginner, just focus on staying smooth, focused and concise. That's the best advice I can possibly give you. But now onto the right hand side for turn 19 for the final time of asking, and then for the same for turn 20. I mentioned earlier about when the bike's acceleration is reaching that point we need to shift upwards. That's when you want to sort of bring on the brakes for the Moorish Hill corner. Went a little bit wide here for the Dona Maria, actually just touched the wall ever so slightly. Not happy with the way that turned out, but we're still on board the motorcycle and we're still on par for a very, very solid lap. So using the rear brake, trying to stop this Kawasaki going into a Melco hairpin, but we do manage to tackle it. And now into turn 23, a little bit of a flick there. Be in the middle of the track. Don't go to either right or left, just be in the centre of that track and you will be okay for that particular part, because it does tighten up, it bunches up ever so slightly in that particular corner, so just be very, very careful. So now charging down to the back straight, if you will, braking at the 100-metre marker for the very final time, and we'll get it onto the right hand side for R for turn 26 and bring on the acceleration. This is actually going to be a pretty good lap. This could get me into the 2-minute 28s. So there you go, guys, those are my 4 lap times here in Macau. Pretty good performance, and I will advise as well, because these are stock tyres, could be worthwhile just jumping back into the pits and getting a fresh pair of stock tyres on, because they do heat up or get a bit cold quicker than your slick tyres. So there you go, guys, top of the leaderboards. Pretty happy with that performance, if I do say so myself. I do love this circuit, and the bike selection was fantastic as well. I really hope this video has helped you learn a little bit more about this weekly challenge, and I hope it's helped you get the goal lap time as well. Apologies for my voice in this one, I'm not feeling too great today, but I really wanted to get this video done and get it done quicker so you guys can learn and tackle the weekly challenge just as well. So upon that note, guys, thanks for watching. Leave a comment down below if this video helps you. Like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite set your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.